Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is day 261, September 18th. So glad that you're here. My name's Alex, and you guys know Micah.
Hi.
That's Micah. He's here again.
Yes.
I made the comment, either we really like you or I have no friends, because he's been on here a lot. He's basically a staff member. So
either way, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
So,
I like having Micah on. We vibe really well. We talk a lot. So this is really fun. We just like doing this. So I figured, why not invite him back? So
it's one of the few times we get together and we don't talk about coffee.
Yeah.
So
we're either talking about coffee or music.
yeah, that's
or geeking out about our soundboard and music stuff. So
Yeah.
This is definitely something different, and we like it. So
yeah, absolutely.
cool. We're gonna dive right in. Today's reading was fun, I guess. We're gonna dive into Isaiah 29. Did you get anything out of that? I don't know. It was
a bit dry.
Yeah, it was a little dry. So here's the two things that I got out of it. I highlighted some things. Sometimes you read the Bible and you're kind of just like, what's going on here? Basically, here's some theology, right? I wrote it down. Where'd it go? In the beginning, there's this person, Ariel. It says, "Woe to you, Ariel." I'm like, who the heck is Ariel? I didn't know anything about this in the Bible. I don't remember this in Bible college, but then I did, because I remember looking through some notes, that Ariel is... There we go. Ariel means Lion of God. Yes. And so they're referring to Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is being very prideful in this moment and being very religious, right? And that's always a thing in the Bible. There's always people that are super religious, and then God comes and like messes things up. And basically what's happening is God's speaking to Jerusalem, and they're being kind of arrogant. And so he's being, or like I said, prideful, and he's being kind of sarcastic. And I was reading somewhere in some commentary and saying the reason why he says Ariel twice is kind of being sarcastic, like, "Ooh, you're so cool, you're so mighty, you're the Lion of God," and kind of almost like, again, being sarcastic about Jerusalem,
Slightly mocking.
Yeah, like, okay, big bad Jerusalem. Because, and here's why. If you start reading down into it, there's this verse that I highlighted. It said that these people come near me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And then, like, that's basically what it is, right? So these people in Jerusalem are so, like, again, prideful of how they worship God. They know the spiritual language, right? They know how to talk to Jesus or how to talk to God, and they know the church lingo, I should say.
Yeah.
But their hearts are far from Him.
Well,
and, yeah,
it's it's funny how much these old themes.
Yeah.
Can be so relevant to even me at times. Well, not at times. It can be relevant to me all the time.
Yeah.
But that feeling, I've been a Christian since I was 16.
Yeah.
And I'm not 16 anymore. And there's times in my faith and in my walk where I'll admit you're there on Sunday because it's what you do.
Yep.
And I'm not there to interact with God necessarily. I'm there because I have obligations, or I'm there because it's what's expected of me. I know the lingo, and so I'm walking it.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily doing it because I'm actively seeking a relationship with Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what these people are doing. They're just, I feel like sometimes we just check off like church, or we really know how to look Christian.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to talk Christianese, right? You heard that word.
Yep.
We have worship music on, but yeah, sometimes our hearts are far from it. And one thing I like that he says at the end, it's like in verse 16, he kind of makes this like analogy of this potter. And it's like, does the potter not know anything about the pot? And basically he's like, you can't fool me. I'm God.
Yeah.
You can't come to me with these words of, again, Christianese, and know the Bible and know the law and be religious, but not have it in your heart. Like, I can see through that.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's kind of mocking Jerusalem here, because they're walking around with this prideful attitude, with this attitude of, we are godly people and we know how to speak the language and we know how to do the things and we know how to look the way, but they're not actually worshiping God.
Sure.
So I thought that was a really cool, that's something I pulled out of it that even helps me. Like we were saying, like, we can't just check off that we're Christians, and I can't just be like, oh, I led worship this weekend. Yep. Good. I look like a worship leader on stage, but not live that out in my life and truly worship God with my heart. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. And then we're going to just jump right over to Galatians 4. So now we're with Paul, and he's talking to the church of Galatia. Yeah. So anyway, so I can't talk right now.
I prefer.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to help him because I don't know.
He's not going to. Speaking is not good for me. I sing. But yeah, so now he's coming. He's talking to the Galatian church, and kind of like a similar thing here. He's talking about these people, again, who are being religious.
Yep. Who
are obeying the law, which is good. And then he's talking about how we are the sons and daughters of Jesus, and how what Jesus did on that cross allowed us to have access to God. And the thing that made me think about this, that when we're reading through this, Micah, you're a dad.
I am.
And I know we've talked about your kids here before, so we're going to talk about them again. Basically, what he's saying here is that as a father, as our God, he loves us because he loves us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Abba Father, he loves us because of who he is. And we don't have to earn his love.
Yes.
So I think about you and your kids. You know, I've hung out, I go to their house a lot, and his kids can be crazy.
That's an understatement.
You know, I've seen them get upset, and, you know, I've seen them, you know, do their thing and whatever, like, but you love them.
Yeah.
But you still have laws, right? Well, you still have rules, I should say, not laws in your home.
I'm going to go to my phone for this one. But that's what stood out. And even backing up, not just Galatians 4, but in Galatians 3.
Yeah.
I have to find the address here, but he was speaking about the law that Christ was available to us. We were placed under the guard by his law.
Yeah.
We were kept in protective custody, so to speak, until the way of faith was revealed. In another way, the law was our guardian until Christ came.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think of like the law being our guardian.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we think of the laws as like just that, a law, something that you can or cannot do.
Yep.
And as we've gone through this and we've read the Old Testament, we've heard a lot about laws.
A lot about laws. Yep.
But it's interesting to again, just to have that paradigm shift a little bit of like, hey, that law is here to protect you.
Yeah.
And it's there out of love.
Yep.
And
for sure.
You know, and then it does reveal a little bit in that New Testament that as we get into this, that the law's there, but the law has changed because we have Christ now.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to me as that was one thing that I kind of wrestled and thought through with this, is just that love was here.
Yep.
Even in the Old Testament, where sometimes it can feel like that's almost lost.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament God. But to see that those laws were there because he cared for us.
Yes.
And he was protecting us.
Yeah. And again, same thing with your kids. You put rules in place because you want to protect them. You care for them.
Yeah.
You love them. If they break a rule, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. You know, you still love them. And it's just, again, it's there to protect them. And I love that. One thing that I found that was interesting too, this is, again, another little theology like tib thing, that Paul was actually kind of walking through the Galatian church, and he wasn't actually supposed to be there for long. And then it says that he got ill, and he says, as you know, because of my illness, I first preached to you the gospel. And there's some things that talk about his illness, not sure really what he had, but because of his illness, he had to stay there longer, and he had to preach longer. So he kind of uses time as an opportunity to talk to the church even more. And I feel like that sometimes in our life, you know, we get stuck into a situation where, especially right now, everyone wants to move everywhere. Everyone wants to move to Arizona or to Idaho or to some other state because of whatever reason. And maybe you're one of those people right now watching, you're like, oh, I want to move somewhere, but God has kept you somewhere because it's your turn to, you know, speak truth in life and share this word that, you know, you don't have to be slaves to sin or the slaves to the law, but that we have a Father who loves us and who wants to give us his inheritance.
Well, and it's also interesting to think that he didn't keep him there through like a means of something cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, I'm keeping you here because I'm giving you a bunch of gold or whatever.
Yeah.
It was, you're sick.
You're sick. Yeah.
And how many times do we get in a position like that? And what do we want to do? We want to retreat. We want to go away.
Yeah.
And instead, God used this opportunity to keep him in a place. And then he had to do what God asked him. And so, I mean, if I get sniffles, I get man flu real bad. And that's the last thing I want to do is get out there and like preach to people.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But it's an interesting thought that through uncomfort, you know, it kept him somewhere. And instead of wallowing in self-pity or whatever it is, or anger towards God that he wasn't being delivered from his illness, instead he uses as an opportunity to capitalize on being somewhere for longer.
Yeah. I love that. just kind of just like using your circumstances and, you know, or looking at your circumstances and using them for good and seeing how God can bless you through it and how you can bless others in that situation, even though it doesn't feel like a blessing to us sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I love that. Cool. Anything else that stuck out to you today?
I think that's about it for me.
Yeah. Today's reading was fun. I love that we get to do this. Again, we're on day 261. We're almost done through the year, and it's been amazing, an amazing journey, just seeing the different things in the Bible and just breaking down Old Testament, New Testament, and just seeing how God works through all of it. So we hope you keep continuing to log in and listening and being a part of what we're doing here. But we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.